Good day, everyone, and welcome to our Engineering Leadership Professional Program info session. I'm Christina Susak, welcoming you this afternoon, along with our illustrious team. I'm the head of professional education for UC Berkeley College of Engineering, Sutarja Center for Entrepreneurship and Technology. So the Engineering Leadership Professional Program has been running for 12 plus years now, and it's really focused on engineering contributors who are looking to up their game and get promoted and really capture a overall connect the dots view of how a business operates outside of their technical expertise. This year, we are running the online cohort from August 20th to December 4th from 5 to 8 p.m. Pacific time, allowing folks to have their full workday and join the program from the comfort of their homes. I'm going to turn it over now to Ava Vischer-Simon, Senior Program Manager, who will be the program manager for this online iteration, to talk to you a little bit about what exactly is ELPP.
Hi, everybody. So this program, so as Christina said, I'm Ava, and I will be running the program with you, alongside with you every week. So this goes from engineer to being an engineering leader is the goal of this program. It's an 18-week online synchronous live program, 3 hours every week. And it's really for technical professionals to get ready to lead innovation and teams. And as I said, there will be live sessions every week, so you will get to actually interact with each other, and you will have a chance to work on real-world projects. This is the learning journey that you'll see. So we start off in August, and then we move to live weekly sessions. And during those sessions, we start with topics such as tech strategy and ideation, innovation cases and pitching, product leadership. And then we move into group projects. As we go along, we'll be talking more and more about the group projects and honing in on those group projects, so you'll have a chance to really get to know your fellow participants. And then we'll move into, excuse me, we'll continue with our live sessions as we go along through October, and we will move into the presentations as well for the group sessions. So as Christina mentioned, these are weekly live sessions on Wednesdays from 5 to 8 p.m. Pacific time. And the programs will be as I said, focused on small group projects, and there will be an interactive canvas. These are our LMS system to use, as well as case studies. There will be lots of case studies, and what's great about the program is that some of the protagonists from the case studies are actually teaching these case studies. And then there'll be a final project with presentations where you really get to hone in on a lot of the skills that you've been learning all semester, and then a certificate at the end. I'm going to hand it over back to Christina to talk about who joins ELPP.
Thank you, Ava. And yes, we can't stress enough the beauty of this program and the uniqueness is a front row view to the leaders of the Silicon Valley who were once upon a time in your very shoes as technical leaders, and now they're running large scale organizations. They are in many cases, the protagonists of some of the case studies that you'll be participating in. So who's the ideal participant? As I said earlier, the whole purpose of the program is to give you a business overview and breadth. You'll be having modules on accounting, storytelling, negotiations, mentoring. The ideal participant profile are directors and senior directors of engineering, principal engineers, software architects, engineering R&D, systems managers, product and program managers, emerging VPs, senior technical leaders. Typically, we're looking at folks with 8 to 25 years of experience. So it is broad because we know in many organizations, titles and experience and actual job purview, there's quite a variety. So folks that are leading cross-functional and global teams, owning product strategy, innovation, operations. So why might you want to do this? Well, perhaps you're thinking about stepping confidently into a VP or executive role. You want to upscale and refresh your existing qualifications and academic certification. You want to lead with influence beyond engineering. You want to understand business strategy, finance, innovation at scale, and build a global peer network. You'll also be joining more than 1,200 ELPP alums to also have that collaboration and power of ideation that only UC Berkeley engineering can bring you. I'd now like to turn it over to my dear esteemed colleague, Gigi Wang.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. I'm Gigi Wang, and I am one of the professors of this program. And I come from your background. I started my career as an engineer. I worked with Exxon and I worked with Quaker Oats as manufacturing engineer, but I went to the dark side. I went over to business and got a degree in business and have done mostly marketing and business development in my career, being a serial entrepreneur. So let's see. Anyways, let me carry on. Is what I think this program is great for, especially for the engineering people, is that you're in the engineering discipline, and that's kind of what you see. But you very much want to understand the rest of the business, the whole business, marketing, finance, leadership, because you might want to expand your career and grow. But you don't have time to take time off and go get an MBA for 3 years. This is the perfect program where you get exposed to all the different aspects of business. But you get to learn about strategy, business model innovation, a lot of presenting, communications, because
So I just wanted to follow up with Gigi as being a graduate from the class. The ELPP program was great for me with respect to I was the target audience that the program tries to reach out to. I am a director of systems engineering for applied materials. And, I was looking at a program to give me more of an exposure to how and why business worked outside of my technical expertise. On the projects that I work at in applied materials. So the ELPP program was great because it allowed you to meet industry experts during the case studies. For example, we did a case study on e-ink where we met with Russ Wilcox, and it's great because you see from the inside when a company was going through its growth, the challenges and tribulations, and you get to learn firsthand from the people who were there. The channel partner guys at Cisco, we spoke to Inder Sidhu. Not only do you work on these case studies, but you also learn the how-tos for speaking and presenting. Behavioral economics is some of the things Gigi was talking about. Storytelling and mentoring. They've got great communication classes. Talking about eye contact and open hands when you're talking, and things to deal with before and after a conversation. They've got, again, great people from the field like Court Worthington, who was able to come in. And the other thing that I like particularly with the program. Both the staff is great. Dara, Gigi, and Christina. They're in there. They're involved with the classes and with also reaching out if you do need help with your projects. And again, there's also that great team project that you get to do while you're working in the program. You can do an industry landscape or a startup, and you get a good mix of people with respect to you're not just dealing with people in your own company, you're dealing with people that work in other companies in similar positions to yours. And then the nice thing for me is, I live out in Austin, and I would have loved to take this class in person, but this also gives me the opportunity to be able to take the class not being in the Bay Area. So like I said, I can't speak more highly with the program, and it's great, particularly for anybody who's looking to, again, get that mini MBA without taking 3 years, like Gigi was mentioning.
Yeah, but one thing, Phil, is while you're on this online class, tell me, how much of your career is right now being spent online?
A lot. And it's just because of the fact that the last 4 years have changed the way people work, and we are more connected with respect to, again, everything that we do. Teams aren't just local anymore; they're both national and international. Like I have team members both in Austin and in Santa Clara that I have to deal with on a daily basis online. And again, it's just a good fit. I know we had people on my project team that were actually in India, and we were able to make it work. And that was the other thing. I mean, Gigi and Christina made sure that the teams that were formed for doing our projects worked well together with respect to being able to work on the project with constraints to time zones and things like that. So again, it teaches you how to kind of work in that remote time frame as well.
Fantastic. So what would you say was one of your key learnings from doing your startup project?
Well, I learned I might have to read the instructions a little bit more, because we started off doing a landscape, and then we pivoted with respect to what we actually wanted to do was with a startup. And again, Gigi was great in helping us out with that. We learned a lot with respect to what we needed to do, both taking what we did with our landscape study and pivoting it into what I think was a good startup presentation.
So did you
lost Gigi again, and again, the project was great and applicable with respect to for me, I got to use my technical expertise with respect to what I understood about semiconductor and the solar industry to do a startup pitch, which typically that's something as a technical contributor that I wouldn't normally do. And then again, all the things that were taught to me with respect to the how-tos for presenting and speaking and behavioral economics, and again, communication and presentation. It was pivoting with respect to what we learned in the ELPP class. So again, a great program with great insights.
Well, do you think you're gonna change your career now and go more into the marketing side?
So, and again, that's the other thing that both Christina and Gigi were kind of showing us is just you can get out of that mind frame of, well, I'm a technical contributor. This is what I do, and this is what my value is. To hey, that's a good basis to start with, but with that basis and understanding a little bit with respect to how both people and the company works, being able to again change your career with respect to going into sales or technical marketing, which again, these are avenues like that are in my mind now with respect to taking the ELPP course. With respect to prior to taking this, it was trying to be like, okay, I understood the mold that I was in, and that was probably the mold that I would be stuck in. But because of having experienced this course, it made me hopefully a better leader to my team. And not only that, it's opened up the horizon on what I can do to grow and expand my career. Gigi freeze again. Yeah, and as I mentioned, it has been great with respect to being able to have that visibility now. I don't see myself as just a technical leader. I can see myself in a TPM role with respect to running a program. And I've taken a lot of programs with respect to starting something from zero and ramping it into production and the end of life. And the nice thing is when you take this ELPP course is, again, it teaches you the skills with respect to dealing with people, and again, communication and how to present. And we have, again, that runway into looking to exploring different opportunities, not only at the company that you're in, but then potentially, you might decide to make a career change.
Yeah, one of the things is, I think the year before you, Phil, in 2023, there was an engineering director from I think Applied Materials in Oregon, and he did such a fantastic job doing marketing for their startup idea. I mean, he was like a veteran marketer, so I almost wanted to tell him, hey, you need to switch roles. You should stop being an engineer. You need to become a marketing person.
And again, it's because
actually,
of exposure.
by taking ELPP, you may, yeah, absolutely.
And you see that when you take
ELPP,
one thing I have to
tell you, Phil. Yep. And it's so much fun working with all of you because you come from such different companies, and I personally get to learn about the companies. I learn about your companies. I learn about some of the things going on, some of the strategies, and it's really, I think, helps everyone, all the students working on the projects, but also us faculty to learn more and be able to help other people in the future.
And definitely, I did like the fact that, again, you not only see the culture at your company, and we had a few applied materials people in the class, but we also got to see our peers in the industry, our customers. Like we had people from Samsung, and we also had people from adjacent industries, and again, a lot of Silicon Valley companies like Yahoo, and it's good to get those other viewpoints from other people who are kind of working at your level.
And a very funny thing is, in one of my first classes teaching, I was talking about my background, and Phil asked me, "Oh, your ex-husband used to work with me," and we realized that Phil used to work with my ex-husband at another company, and it really shows the breadth of the network and the people you connect with while you're taking ELPP.
And it's like it's like we said, it's a small valley, and it's not just a small valley. It's literally a small world with respect to, again, the industry that we're in and the people that do the things that they do.
Great.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Gigi and Phil. So Gigi is a major part of the program and teaches and mentors all the small groups. And Gigi, maybe you can tell a little bit more about the small group project, just to give people a sense of what that journey is like.
Absolutely. And I apologize for the technical difficulties. I changed browsers, and now looks like I'm not having technical difficulties. But about the small group project, one of the things that the Saturja Center, we believe that people learn primarily by actually applying and doing. So instead of coming and just sitting through 16 weeks of lectures and talks, what we want to do is give all the students a chance to work and apply what they've learned. And so an integral part of the class is that all the students work in teams of 4 to 5 on a group project. The group project can be either an industry landscape, analyzing the industry. For example, teams have analyzed the state of the pharmaceutical industry, or maybe autonomous cars. And that's one thing. But I would say most of the student teams choose to work on a startup idea, because by working on a startup idea, they get to develop an idea that they've maybe been mulling over, or they get to learn about some other ideas. And very importantly, by doing a startup idea, all the students get exposed to all the different parts of doing a business, like the business model, the product, developing a product, doing go-to-market. How do you pitch to an investor? And so you kind of get a broader perspective on all the aspects of a business beyond engineering. And some in the beginning, I think a lot of the students are like, I don't know what I got myself into. And then by the end, when they do the final presentations to investors, the students are like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. And some of them have gone on. Some of the students that come to the class actually have left their large company, taken ELPP, because they wanted to learn the building blocks to start their own company. So you get a broad perspective of business beyond what you see in a typical engineering job.
And typically, Gigi, like with the final project, you also get feedback too, because it's not just an open-ended, okay, here's the presentation. You have those industry experts there that give you feedback on what you presented. And again, it takes you out of that narrow mold of just looking at the technical aspects of something to, again, the business case, the pitch, making the product and doing the go-to-market. And again, it's very hands-on, very, very practical. And that was the good thing about the class. It's not just a boring class where you're sitting there going through case studies. You are hands-on and interactive with your teammates. And again, that's the other thing. You also, you build our Rolodex with respect to contacts. And again, you have exposure to people that you wouldn't have normally met on a regular basis.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and just to bring it back again in terms of the small group projects, there's the feedback sessions, and you're also doing these virtually, which, as we know, is a very common thing these days, to have to present virtually as well in your own companies and in your own situations. So it gives you, different type of practice as well as that broader network. Thank you, Phil and Gigi, so much for sharing. Much appreciated. So just to give you an idea of how we work in terms of the application process. So it is a program where there is an application, and you'll see here the application QR code, and we'll also put that in the chat. And then we review your application together with faculty, and if you fit the mold, so then just what Christina talked about, then we will send you a link to register for the program. And we'd like to offer today for joining us and listening to the program or listening to this info session, a discount for 10% off of the program fees. And I'm just going to check here if we have any questions. Wonderful, thank you, Dara. So that is the program, and I just want to turn it back over to Christina to close us out and tell us about any last things, the program.
Thank you so much, Ava. So yes, as we kicked off in the beginning, really consider the program if you're looking to build confidence in your business conversations with C-suite stakeholders, figuring out how to have a greater voice at the table, learning how to lead with influence across functions, understanding how to scale products, teams, and strategies, getting out of your comfort zone, challenging the status quo, feeling free to iterate on ideas in a very safe space and getting very frank feedback, not just from your peers, but from our esteemed faculty and practitioners. Thinking about transitioning from a technical contributor to a visionary leader. This is also the program for you. And most importantly, joining a global peer network of high caliber engineering leaders. Thank you so much, and feel free to apply to the program, tell your friends, spread the word, and we look forward to welcoming you on August 20th to ELPP, UC Berkeley College of Engineering Global Online. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.